Okay, we're starting off our Boundary Waters canoe trip here at East Bearskin Lodge. So we just launched, have our canoe packed up here. So we're just getting going, and we're going to head down the lake, probably stop at one of the Bearskin campsites just for this first night, and then we're going to proceed on to Alder Lake. So wish us. Alright, so for this trip, this is a long trip from southwest Florida, came up through Wisconsin, went in here through Duluth, and up this beautiful lakeshore road of 61, all the way up into Grand Marais, which is right there. So there's Grand Marais, and then you get on the Gunflint Trail, drive up that little ways, and you'll come to East Bearskin Lake, which is up here. I can't even see it on the camera. And that's where we launched, at East Bearskin Lake. Okay, at the entrance to Crocodile River here, where the little falls are. The campsite's being used right now for somebody having lunch, but I think we're going to stay. So we're just going to hang out, and then when they're done with their lunch, we're going to go over and set up our first campsite. So this is Alligator River Falls. We'll get a better look at this when we're in the campsite. Actually, you can walk around. There's some nice. Alright, there's a nice beaver lodge here. So we're making our way towards Crocodile River campsite. See if it's available. Hello. So we're almost halfway down the lake, I'd say. Maybe not quite. Alrighty. We'll keep going. We'll check out this campsite up here, see if we want to. Okay, so our entry point was right here, East Bearskin Lodge. So we entered. It was around 12:30, 1 o'clock Eastern time, and we didn't want to overdo it, so we just paddled down here about halfway down the lake. And this was our first campsite right here, which was right next to the Crocodile River. We're at Crocodile Falls here, right next to our campsite. We're going to take a little bath, cool off. Looky there. Woo. It is cold, but it's a warm day. It's got to 90 today. Still not like being in Florida. There's Mariana. Okay, I'm going to do a long recording of this. We will see you later. Okay, let's take a little tour of our first campsite here on East Bearskin Lake. Of course, this is the first campsite as you're going down the lake. It's right next to Crocodile Falls. A little bit of a difficult entryway, pretty rocky. You know, you just got to be really careful if you don't want to scratch your canoe up. So you see you have kind of the dining area with the fire pit, kind of rocky. We got some chairs over here. And there's some logs to sit on if you don't have chairs. So there's the entryway here. Over to the right is a little tent pad area. Don't really like this one. It's not really level. So not really a good one. I mean, it could be used if you had to. If you had 2 tents, you could use it. And then on the other side is the other tent pad area. It's much bigger, and it's much more level, and not as many rocks or stumps. It's a pretty good tent pad, as you can see. So my other campers are still asleep here in the morning. And then here's the trail that goes back where you can get access to Crocodile Falls. And the potty trail is going up a hill. It goes off to the right, and it's a pretty steep hill. Like, you would probably want to have tennis shoes on, hiking boots, whatever that you brought. I mean, we have Crocs as our camp shoes. I wouldn't want to go up that hill with Crocs on. That wouldn't be a good idea. You got to have tennis shoes. So there it is, you know, about a 2 to 3 star site. Really kind of hard to fish because there's really only one place you can cast without bumping into sticks and stuff and trees. So about a 2 to 3 star site. But what we really liked about it was going up to the falls area, up to the top, and having a nice, I wouldn't say swim, but a nice bathing right there, right next to the falls. That was really nice, and a nice little pool. That was well worth it. That really refreshed us yesterday. Alright, so our plan today is we're going to go farther down the lake to the portage into Alder Lake, and then we're going to try to find a good base camp to set up for the next several days. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so after our first day, we left the next morning, we left our campsite and paddled down this way, down the right or south arm of East Bearskin. We never saw this campsite, so it must be pretty well hidden. And we got to this portage and portaged across into Alder Lake. Okay, this was the portage entrance to Alder Lake. It's a bit crowded. We missed this. We thought it was a campsite, and we went farther on down. By the time we got back, there was 2 other parties disembarking. That's all right. So Bracken just took the canoe. This is the last bag we have with the tent. So I'm going to take that, and then we'll start loading. All right, just off the portage into Alder Lake. And then we come through this narrows here that takes us into the main part of the lake. So we got to be real careful with these rocks to get through. All right, now after portaging into this, we crossed through this little narrows here, went down. This campsite here was occupied by a family that was ahead of us. And we went down. We decided to take this first available one here. It looked pretty decent. We jumped out and scouted it. So we ended up at this second campsite right here. Alright, pretty area of high bluffs over here to the right as we're coming down Alder, looking for a campsite on the left. Getting a little windy though. Okay, so we're at our second campsite. So this is to look at it. Say a slight improvement over the last one. The landing is a little easier to get out of, although you might get your feet wet. It's a little shallower right there, easier to walk if you're not out too far where it's slippery. It has a kind of the room effect as the other one. This is a trail that goes up to the potty. It's not as steep, not as tough a trail to go up, so that's an improvement. Not as high up. And you have a lot of nice like pines and stuff back here. It's really good for hammocks. If everybody was hammocking, this would be a perfect place. But we set up over here because that looked like really the only decent tent pad. And it looked level, but it really isn't level. So that's a little rough. And we've got a hammock here. Set up our little oven, our screen house. It's working out good. Bugs haven't been an issue though, so we haven't really needed it for bugs. But if it rains with a tarp on top, that will definitely help. Have a nice view. This is the really high kind of cliff area over here across from the campsite. And you actually have some room to fish. Although I haven't had any luck. I've cast a couple different lures. No luck so far. So that's the second campsite. The plan today is to do a day trip over to Johnson Falls. So we'll have to do a portage. And then we get off at the trail. And it's about 1.5 miles one way. So it'll be a nice little hike we have planned for today. Alright, so hopefully we'll see you at Johnson Falls. Oh, now I'm filming. Mariana made her morning coffee.
Delicious.
Delicious.
A hot beverage.
Alright, we're at the Canoe Lake Portage. Just emptied our stuff out, and we're going to do this very short trail here over to Canoe Lake. This is a pretty easy, this is about the easiest entry we've seen so far. Alright, for our day trip, after spending one night at this campsite, we took a day trip, and so we canoed down here past these campsites into this portage right here, leading into Canoe Lake. That was a real short, easy portage. None of the sites were occupied on Canoe Lake here, and so we paddled on down to this trail right here, which was going to take us to Johnson Falls. Oopsie.
Where are we going?
We're just going to go to the far shoreline where the campsites are and follow it.
So we're gonna go.
Alright, we just landed at the portage going to Johnson Falls. Pretty easy portage, easy to see. Getting packed up, leaving the canoe here off to the side, and we got a trail going straight up. It's good, winds around about 1.5 miles. Alright, wish us luck. Okay, so this trail here is kind of a switch back and forth. You had a very steep climb initially going up here. Then it was mostly downhill all the way to the lake shore, although you had to go up sometimes. You know, it was about 1.5 miles or so. You know, it was a nice little hike. And then coming back, it was almost all uphill until you got to this point. So it was pretty exhausting. This part of the stretch here along the lake to where you got to the river, it was like Army Ranger obstacle course. There were fallen logs everywhere, trees across the trail, there was mud, there was huge boulders. So it was pretty challenging, especially along this part. It got narrow sometimes. So by the time we got back, it was we were gone about 5.5 hours total for this trip, and that was taking our time at the falls. It was quite a nice little adventure. This is a steep climb as you start. They got built-in stairs kind of here. Okay, now we're starting to head down from that initial climb. You can already hear the falls in the distance, but we kind of weave around this trail, as you might have seen in the picture of the map. It really. Okay, Gnome Bridge we got across. Okay, guys. Come to the lake, there's a bracket. Okay, trail along the lake to the falls now. It's kind of dense in here. Kind of dense. Lakes. Hey, we made it. That's beautiful. She's hungry. Okay, we're back at camp now. It's a long day. It took a couple hours to get back. Kicked my ass. That trail coming back was really challenging coming back, as you're mostly going uphill the whole time. But we were trolling a little bit on the way back here on Alder Lake, and I caught us dinner, at least the entree. This beautiful walleye on a Rapala we were trolling. So let me show you with this baby. I'd say that's about 3 pounds. Yeah, I'd say he's about a 3-pounder, maybe 20 inches. Yeah, about 20-inch, 3-pound. Beautiful walleye. Beauty. So that will be dinner tonight. So, a good day, tiring day, but a good day. And it's not over yet. Alright, so we got the walleye frying, looking good, fresh out of the lake. That's going to be good. Hey, 6 a.m. thunderstorm. Getting nasty out here. Thunder, lightning. Hopefully our tarps hold. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move. Okay, had quite a rainstorm, so we're cooking bacon up for breakfast. I think that cube's about out. So today we're just hanging out at camp and we're gonna fish around here, read books, just relax. Yesterday was a full day. Then we're gonna head out tomorrow morning. Hopefully it's not raining. So we can catch some fish, get another fish dinner. Just hit the red button again to turn off the video, okay? Hit the power button to power. Always high and you can turn it up. Now take a picture, you just hit the button beside the power button. You take a picture of the video, you hit that red button. Okay? Okay, so go ahead and film it and then you can do some pictures. Alright, got this trolling. Not quantity, but quality. Is it on? Okay. Look at that. That's probably 12 pounds at least. Wow. Okay, and so ends our last evening here in the Boundary Waters. Ended the day with a nice northern pike dinner. Had a feast on northern pike. And we're going to be heading out in the morning, you know, just pack up best we can when we get up. So it's been a pretty relaxing day except for the morning with the thunderstorms. That was a little tense at times. Had some water issues, but we got everything dried out and should be in good shape for tomorrow if something happens. So, been a nice trip. Alright, so we'll see you later. If you would like to help the channel, there are some Amazon links and other links in the description box below if you'd like to help the channel. And we'll have some other videos related to this trip out, some scenes of the waterfalls and things like that besides this video. And maybe a museum tour we might do in Duluth, we're not sure yet. So we will see. Alright, we will see you later.